Good evening and welcome to the show. I'm with Ian Hislop, 6-2 down in games and 4 Fridays left until Christmas. What a shame tonight's show is the last in the series. In the news this week, after surviving a long speech from Jacques Chirac by listening to his Walkman, John Major gets caught out at the last minute. In London, feminists express concern at the press launch of the new Guardian women's page. And a new term begins at the Bill Wyman Finishing School. Joining Ian Hislop on our satirical news quiz is a comedian who said recently that he avoids topical or political material, so another great booking then, Alan Davies. And on Paul Merton's team tonight, the TV cook who once served pork to the Israeli ambassador, although she made amends by drying up with Yasser Arafat's headdress, Jennifer Paterson. So let's waste no more time and watch some television. An outstanding pair of bulletins for each team to identify, Ian and Alan.
It's about the budget, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, there was a budget this week, definitely.
Loads of it got leaked to the Mirror, and then they didn't print it, did they?
No, Piers Morgan suddenly got all responsible, because I think the story was true, which is a bit of a waste of time putting it in the Mirror, really.
And quite some of the government found out from Prince Philip at dinner. They're not bad, aren't they? You see, you look at me and think he knows nothing, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. They're having dinner with Betty Boothroyd, who's an unlikely named public figure, and Prince Philip said, oh, tell him news about the budget then. That's not an impression, but he does have a narrow mouth, doesn't he?
Yeah. But they'd all guessed it anyway, hadn't they?
Yeah. Guess what?
What was going to be in the budget?
Who had? I had no idea.
Yes, I was thinking more of the informed populace.
Oh, right.
And what was in the budget?
Not Daily Express readers, then.
No. You don't really read the Daily Express, do you?
I read it the other day because I was coming on this topical news programme. So far it's proved completely useless.
What was in the budget? It seems irrelevant, but did you notice any of the...
Less money on whiskey, because he likes to drink, doesn't he, Ken? I saw him having a whiskey during the budget going, spirits are coming down.
Cigarettes are up.
You don't smoke?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Woodbine. Lovely.
Do you smoke when you're on that motorbike?
No.
Bit of a
I'm
hazard,
always
isn't it?
amazed when I see people doing such a thing.
You hand it down to the sidecar.
You
like
think
that.
of a
Hold on.
blow.
Oh, that's coming up to a hairpin, I'll be cracked.
Yeah, you'd think they'd blow out, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, but they don't. The Chancellor has added 8p to alcoholic lemonade and 15p to cigarettes, putting a huge strain on the average 12-year-old's pocket money. Paul and Jennifer?
Well, this is the French lorry drivers refusing to deliver fire through the Channel Tunnel. Then it's madness, sheer madness.
Yes.
And that's status quo.
Yes.
Status quo are stuck in a lorry, and if they won't be delivered, they're going to go off. There's a strike. The lorry drivers don't want. The French lorry drivers don't want to work after they're 55. And
Unlike status quo.
unlike status quo.
But it worked. It worked terrifically, because the French police, I gather, belong to the same union as the lorry drivers. So they're sent in and they sort of stand around saying, good job, yeah. Unless it's British lorry drivers, and they chuck CS gas at them.
They keep saying that they're all
Good old
stuck
French.
at the back of the queue, and they're all running out of food. But there's 2,000 lorries full of grub, isn't there? Kind of Jacob's cream crackers lorry.
Yeah.
And the cheddary lorry. And... What about?
Why would the cheddary lorry be trying to get back to England?
Been on holiday.
There's a...
Wouldn't it be a sort of camembert lorry?
Yeah, that would be a camembert lorry, that's right.
Or a brie lorry?
It would be a baguette lorry and a camembert lorry. Thank you, teammate.
Thank you.
A little drop of red wine. What other French foods are there?
That's it.
That's it, mate. Long bread, soft cheese, wine. There was plenty of it anyway, then. So stop moaning.
You're watching Have I Got News for You, by the way, just in case.
Well, we've got to cook on. You've got to help out.
Yes, that's right. The French government set up a special 24-hour hotline for British travellers caught up in the chaos. So any time of the day or night, they could dial a free phone number and hear a French operator go boof. Ian and Alan. Even more revolting.
Oh, there's an Italian MP in it. There's a fan. Oh no, they've got the ump about something.
They're burning a hat. ABCL. That must be an English school.
That looks like a Miss World story.
Yes, they were going to have Miss World in Bangalore. In fact, they've just had Miss World. But I don't know, that's a bit of gossip.
And it caused a great deal of trouble because the Indian people,
Hindus.
the Indians said, we don't want this sort of nonsense. And they all threatened to commit suicide or something.
They were going to burn themselves.
Yeah.
And they caused such a fuss that they had to have the designer beachwear competition in the Seychelles. Which is tough, isn't it? Oh, sorry everyone, we got to go to the Seychelles.
I don't know why they complain about bikinis. I mean, the nation that produced the Kama Sutra and Shiva Lingams in most temples.
What's a Shiva Lingam?
A Shiva Lingam's a thing that looks like that, and you worship it. It just does that.
Is it?
I'm confused by that mime there.
It's a conjurer.
Conjurer, aye.
Yeah. Very simple.
Yes.
What, like a puppet, like Basil Brush sort of a thing?
Yes.
Except just shaped rather more obviously.
Like a knob, you're saying?
Yeah, I am.
Imagine that whole culture worshipping a big knob like that. Isn't that hilarious?
Yes.
I think we've gone far enough.
Yes, I think so, although...
Thank you, Jennifer. Bit of moral tone.
Protesting that the contest patronises women, a group of feminists threatened to take cyanide and set fire to themselves. Probably just time of the month. And lastly, Paul and Jennifer.
It's the shooting, Prince William shooting his first stag.
There he is, it's Prince William. So was the stag with it? Yeah. Goodbye, I'm just going off to see if my son's killed a stag.
Yes, and he did a pheasant last month.
Shot a pheasant, or did a pheasant?
Yeah.
Didn't you shoot a stag, Jennifer?
I didn't shoot a stag.
On your programme?
Grouse and partridge.
You have quite a sort of raunchy style then. You don't you shoot from the hip, I've been told.
I do often shoot from the hip. I do it rather well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a shocking flirt, Angus, isn't he?
What?
So, is it just the grouse that...
Rabbit?
Right.
Anything.
Quiz
you
show
can eat.
hosts, anything like
Is this out in the wild, or do you go in Sainsbury's and go, there's one?
What happened after the stag shooting? Remember the ritual that...
Well, apparently when you shoot your first stag, you're then sort of, they call it blooded, I think,
Yeah.
where the blood from the stag is put across your forehead.
And there's another bit called grollicking. You know what that is?
Yes, that's removing, that's...
The grollicks and smearing them over his face.
Police feared trouble from the Animal Liberation Front, and indeed a man hovering nearby with ALF sewn onto his balaclava was beaten to the ground by security officers. That's until someone pointed out it was Alf, the gamekeeper. Which schoolboy pranks mark an end to this puerile nonsense, and the position is that both teams are bang on target with a crack 4. Round 2 this week enters the earth-shattering world of local news. Ian and Alan.
Trees. Clearly trees.
Good.
Some trees have been stolen.
Clearly. And some tree houses full of rare
Trees.
policemen.
Have been put up.
And the
instead.
police are out looking for the trees in a heavily built-up paved area.
No.
I think it's something to do with squirrels.
Yeah, they've left a note saying, why is this tree being cut down?
It's my home!
Our little homes were in that
Absolutely.
tree.
They wouldn't say our little homes, though, would they?
They've got little homes.
Yeah, they have, but they don't know that because they are only little.
It is to do with someone... It is to do with someone protesting, but it isn't actually...
Two laughs off a squirrel impression, Agnes. Look at that. I'll get a third one here.
Fantastic.
Topical news, my arse. Squirrels.
The Hampstead Heath tree lover who, in order to protest at damage being done to trees by the Corporation of London, stapled a protest letter to a tree stump and was promptly fined for damaging trees.
He probably joined the poor man who's trying to play his bagpipes on the heath. He's been bad as well, yeah.
He has.
I think that's slang for something else.
Everyone look behind me, but somehow bagpipes are always behind you, aren't they? They're never right there, you can just hear them.
Or if you're dining at Balmoral, they come very near you.
Do they?
Yeah, round the table.
Have you been there?
No.
Oh, right. Paul and Jennifer, decipher this.
Skąd dzień ja nie pożarom, mocno spaliona ja pożarom. That's the beginning of the fighting song of Borodino.
Yes, I don't doubt it. What does it mean?
Tell me, little uncle, how was it when you were fighting?
That's what you want to hear on this show.
Absolutely. And this is a local news story. Was this Moscow look east or something?
Yes.
No, was that China? So people have been eating things and they shouldn't have been eating them, and they're jumping on people's stomachs to make them vomit.
That's terrible.
I know, it's awful.
I thought that
It looks like a police recruitment ad. Join us and you can beat people up.
It is a type of police.
Like the police, we're getting there.
They're airport police.
Airport police.
VIP protection
VIP
police.
protection
You
police.
can't get points by just repeating what Ian says.
VAT inspectors. They're really tough there.
Yes, it is tax police, in fact.
Well, it would
yes,
be.
It is, yeah. The taxmen are allowed to use guns, crowbars and baseball bats to collect outstanding debts, and if they deliver a rebate, you're allowed to give them a Chinese burn. Which interest-free discussion accounts for the end of that round, and the current position is that, well, both teams are failing equally, neither being able to muster any more than 5. Much like heads of department at the office party, round 3 may be over-familiar, but what can you do? Odd one out is the name of the game. Paul, your national treasures are Linford Christie, Queen Jocasta of Thebes, Claire Short, and Jennifer Paterson.
Those were the days.
Is Jennifer the only one who's modelled for those lamps you can buy at Liberty?
It looks like somebody's ashes on your head there, doesn't it?
Wasn't that in your days as being Mermaid of Taormina?
Mermaids?
Who's Queen Jocasta of Thebes?
Well, exactly, yeah.
She's Oedipus's mother.
She ended up marrying him by mistake, didn't she?
She did. It was tragic.
And
She had
then
sex with
everybody
him.
died or got killed.
No, he blinded himself, he got the
He
right answer about
blinded
it.
himself.
Did you ever marry your mother by mistake?
No.
No, we all must be the odd one out then.
I must be going.
Claire Short
None of this is
recently
true.
was reunited with the son that she had to give up when she was, many years ago. Linford Christie. I don't know. I don't think
Lost
he
their
was adopted.
sons? Lost their sons? They lost their sons?
No, no matter how many times you say it. I could give you a clue. It is a sort of familial reference. It's the way in which Jennifer was described in the Times recently. It's a reference to it.
Do you remember being described in
Oh,
any
in the
way?
magazine? Yes.
Don't remember which part of the Times it was. That's it. Maybe the magazine, yes.
Well, what's that got to do with this Jocasta?
Well, if we knew how you were described in the Times, we might...
With mermaids? Mermaids? No, nothing to do with mermaids, yeah. Linford Christie's not a mermaid.
No, I think that's safe. He wouldn't be a good runner if he was.
He's famous for a lunchbox.
Famous for lunchbox, but he's not famous for fins and tails.
No, you were described recently in the Times as a grand-mère terrible.
Oh, now, what's this mean?
Terrible grandmother.
Terrible grandmother.
Grandmother, but I'm a spinster of the parish of Westminster. I'm not a grandmother.
Exactly.
No, they got it wrong.
I'm going to
Claire
actually...
Short's a grandmother, and
Yes.
she didn't know it.
Right.
Jocasta was a grandmother and didn't know it.
Didn't know it.
Linford Christie isn't a grandmother.
Nor am I.
Oh, he's a grandfather and he didn't know it. And Jennifer, you've got a secret child who's here tonight.
No idea what else.
Mother! How you been keeping on? Did you see much of Dad these days?
He went.
Did he?
He went, yes.
It is sad
Knew he
business.
was.
Yes, I
Never
having-
trust a Coleman.
No.
Empty their sacks and off they go.
The answer is that they're all grandparents, except you, of course, who was nevertheless described in the Times recently as a grand-mère terrible. At 36, Linford Christie was the only athlete in the British Olympic team who was a grandfather. It's not quite clear what everyone else's excuse was. Jennifer, your dazzling minds are Archimedes, Dale Winton, Mae West, and Princess Diana.
Who's that lovely-looking lady with Dale Winton?
I'm actually putting my trolley up his aisle even as you speak.
What are you doing with this man?
I'm not doing it, I'm looking for his trolley park. Lady Di can see it, look. She's going right a bit, Alan, left a bit.
Who's the fellow who's
He does supermarket sweep and Pets Win prizes and the National Lottery sometimes.
Oh,
Do you not watch TV, Jennifer?
no, not the lottery, no.
Right.
Old films, I like.
Right, no. I
Who's your
don't-
favourite film star?
Lady or man?
Man, let me guess.
Conrad Veidt.
Oh, Conrad Veidt.
Yes, the man.
Oh, he was very good, wasn't
Yes,
he?
marvellous.
Conrad Veidt, yeah,
Yes.
very good. Very good.
They are mother and son.
Well, we've been
See you at
reunited.
Christmas together, can't
You can shove your news quiz up your arse. Archimedes, there's a thing called the Archimedes screw, which is a thing, which is a screw.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes place in a bath.
Is this to do with displacing water or water being displaced into you?
In what way, Professor?
Well, Diana's
Water
a
displaced into you.
fan of colonic irrigation.
Surely.
Yeah, she's had it.
Archimedes gets in.
What do they use? It's like a long towel or something, isn't it?
Well, he gets into the bath and the water gets out of the bath. Whereas if she gets into whatever it is, the water goes.
Didn't Mae West used
Inside.
to do that as well? And I just appeared to
And
be.
Archimedes didn't. He's the odd one out.
Yes. The answer is that they've all had colonic irrigation except Archimedes, who is famous for inventing...
man.
Well, that's exactly what I said.
Yes.
No one's ever done that to me. Have you had colonic irrigation? You, mate. You washed your arse out.
Why not take advantage of our free offer? Beats the Dad's Doorstep Challenge, isn't it? What do they...
Back doorstep challenge, isn't it?
Dale Winton has a hosepipe put up his bottom, which is then turned on full blast. Apparently, when asked what the precise medical benefits of this are, he replied, "Who cares?" Alan, your legendary figures belong to Roy Hattersley, the Duchess of York, Pluto, King of the Underworld, and Pluto.
Pluto, king of the underwear, it needs to be, really, isn't it? It's thinking, look, where are my pants? Clearly. Pluto's a dog, right? Definitely. And the other three aren't dogs. But there's a dog. Is that a dog there? In the Pluto, King of the Underpants, has got a dog next to him.
He had a dog, a very fierce dog.
And they're
Cerberus.
Ooh.
Ooh, says Angus.
Cerberus, yes.
He was a many-headed dog that guarded the entrance to the underworld.
And you had to give him a cake to get past.
Hang on, what?
A sock for Cerberus.
What sort of cake?
Little cakes.
Little Eccles cake.
Yeah, little fancy cakes.
And how would you prepare one of those cakes? And he had a dog. Hattersley still got a dog. It's the dog that...
The goose.
well, that's usually Hattersley's job. But
They've
all got violent dogs, except Pluto, who's a very nice
Pluto?
dog.
Pluto,
Pluto, the amusing Disney character.
One.
the Disney dog. I've never got the whole point of Pluto. He's a very, very dull Disney character. Isn't he? Well, he just skips about. A pratty dog. You don't want
As
that. You
opposed
want...
to the multi-layered and interesting Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, fair point, well made.
Who was this bloke then, Pluto, King of the Underworld? Was he like the one you went to if you stole a car and he fenced it off for you, that sort of thing?
That was roughly, roughly his
Who was he
function,
then,
yeah.
this bloke?
He was Dis originally, and then he became Pluto in Roman mythology.
He was D-I-S.
A term meaning disrespect, I believe.
Yeah. It's also a town in Norfolk, I think.
That's right. That's D-I-S-S though, but it must be connected.
So that's the underworld then, is it? Norfolk.
Well, it's hell to live there, apparently.
Pluto, ruler of the underworld, owned a ferocious dragon dog called Cerberus, who had 3 heads and could breathe fire. According to myth, it died in agony after trying to lick its own bollocks.
Yep, enjoyed that one. Or the one saying that the whole family were which I did quite enjoy.
It revolves around the revelation of their childhood.
That they were beaten for not producing adequate school reports. Did that happen to Medea's children?
They were killed.
Yes.
That was a very bad school report.
Well, Robert Maxwell beat Kevin and Ian, and Medea killed her children, so you have to choose which one of those two to side Howard and Blair with.
Well, Tony Blair admitted to smacking occasionally, and Michael Howard, I suppose, did as well.
So they all beat their children except Medea, who murders them.
Is the right answer.
I was beaten with a Paterson hairbrush, and it broke in 2. And I looked at my mother and I said, "See?"
And miraculously, she could.
Tony Blair admits to having smacked his children under the slogan "Tough on crayon on the wallpaper, tough on the causes of crayon on the wallpaper." On numerous occasions, Robert Maxwell threatened to use his belt on young Kevin. Unfortunately, by the time he'd actually pulled it through all the loops of his trousers, Kevin had escaped to the next village. All of which, thrashing about, marks the end of this punishing round, and the position is that Paul and Jennifer are being hit for 6 with 6, whilst Ian and Alan are kicking ass with 10. Our final missing words round features headlines with entire words blanked out. The panel's seemingly impossible task is to first guess those words and then second guess whether they're taken from this week's guest publication, the quite irresistible Tandoori magazine.
I love it. I love the Tandoori magazine. It's wonderful. It's one of the funniest magazines about. It's got a marvellous sort of Meg's column at the back. You must read it. It's wonderful.
We should do all right then.
I have actually read it. That's why it's in here. But
Did you love it?
Oh, it was fantastic. It's priced £2, although you do get a after 8 mint with it. To your marks, 4. MPs protest at having to sleep with what?
With one another?
No, they won't protest at that.
It's a reference to a film, really.
Sleep with the enemy.
Yes.
Seattle.
Sleep with
The enemy.
Sleeping with Seattle is not the right answer. Sleeping with the Enemy is the right film, yes. Next, the choice of a wise man. What?
Tandoori chicken.
Gold, frankincense.
And Frank Muir.
It's a lovely image. No, it is in fact basmati rice. Well, that was...
You remember it now, the big editorial.
it was on
Do you make that noise every time you've seen any sort of ingredient? That's right. Oh!
Next. OJ was what at time of murders?
Killing 2 people.
In shower is the right answer. In shower of blood, probably. This is now the 5th alibi that OJ has given for his whereabouts, soon to be released as a box set for Christmas. Next, what sex wins couple of car?
Sponsored.
It is, in fact, from
Indian
Tandoori
curry.
magazine.
Curry.
Close.
Peshwari naan. Sex.
Onion bhaji, saag paneer, chakadal.
That's hot spicy.
It is hot and spicy, but in fact, the answer is...
Vindaloo!
Vindaloo is the right answer. Very good.
What does it mean?
It's a couple's story of having sex in a restaurant toilet whilst waiting for their takeaway. Won them a Suzuki. The ones who won a Mercedes, you should have heard that. And lastly, what can act like laxative?
Donald Sinden. Donald Sinden, it's a party piece. Donald Sinden can act like laxative.
Senna.
I'm sorry?
Cenapod.
Cenopods, right, is the wrong answer. The answer is, in fact, boiled water. Certain types...
Bottle. It says bottle.
Bottled water.
Somehow it seems easier to get the word right when it's there in
Well,
front of you.
no, you would have thought.
Same as peppermints as well. Some peppermints have an ingredient. Sugar-free peppermints, it says on the side, be careful, can have a laxative-like effect, which seems silly because you take them to freshen your breath in the first place. Make you shit yourself, though. Sorry, Mum.
Which rare entertainment constitutes the be-all and end-all of this very last round, and the situation is that this week's Old Dears are Paul and Jennifer with 10, whilst this week's Monarchs of the Glen are Ian and Alan with 15. And I leave you with news that in London, Ted Heath picks a bad moment to fall in love for the first time in his life. At a recent conference, Michael Howard finds a simple way to cover up the fact that he's been lying. And a security camera reveals the identity of the mystery man who goosed Gillian Shepherd. Good night.